Okay, so today we're going to go over all the crazy things you've wanted to think about. The meme stocks, the crypto, the Bitcoin, all that rubbish we're going to go over. And everything starts with prices, with price discovery, right? In the communist world, right? In the communist world, there were no prices, right? You were told you could buy, a certain amount of stuff was manufactured. You could go and then line up in a queue. And if you had the relevant coupons or whatever, you could go and buy that thing. There were no prices for it. All the prices were fixed. There was no competition. Everything was standardized. What that caused was huge lines for shoes, right? And then no lines for 1 million tractors, because the government would say, we want 1 million tractors, but there wasn't demand for 1 million tractors. But I want 10,000 shoes, but there was 1 million people that wanted shoes. So because there were no prices, there was no way to allocate resources effectively, right? Obviously, with prices, you learn which one is the better good, and that's the one, firstly, we're gonna get investment for, and secondly, that's the one we're gonna produce. So what's happened, we've had ZIP, right? Zero interest rate policies from the Fed for 13 years now. Since 2008, we've had basically zero interest rates up to about 1.5%, which is also the same thing, right? And when you have virtually zero interest rates, and really it should be at 5-6%, right? But in order to stop this stock market bubble crashing, they have to keep going. They have to keep fake pumping the market, fake heroin addiction. But this causes massive issues. The first, AMC and the cryptos. A load of rubbish, bankrupt companies or fake currencies, worthless and being completely manipulated, but people have nowhere to put their money. In the olden days, you would go, should I put in a bank? Going to give me 5%, 6%, okay, that's good. Stocks, good, but not going to give me that much more than 5-6%, and it's not really growing that far, and we'll see why stocks are growing so fast lately. They're not really going that far, nah. Property, wow, that's going to be a hefty mortgage there, 5-6%. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to, just stick it safely in the bank, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, there ain't no bank, right? You can't do it. The only things going up 500-600% are all this madness, AMC and meme stocks and all this rubbish. Let me put the money there. And so they're sucking all the money into this garbage. The second thing we've got is house prices. Obviously, house prices would be regulated. People would be, oh, that's a high mortgage, 5-6%. I don't think I can take that on. But now with 0%, I can take on triple the amount of money I wanted to take on. It's about 2.5% for a 30-year, right? I can take on triple the amount of cash that I previously took on. And so that's why house prices are going through the roof. In the olden days, you would have governments going, whoa, house prices going up way too fast. We're going to be responsible and do our government duty and cool the market down by raising interest rates. Not anymore. Now they're just pumping and pumping and pumping. And so there's bubble, and so people are taking on insane amounts of debt, as well as personal debt as well. S&P hitting a record, just every few months it just breaks another record. It is actually insane. It's never been like this. The reason is companies are borrowing money, right? Individuals are borrowing money to buy houses or to fund their debt. Companies are borrowing money to, what is the main source of increase in the stock market? Share buybacks. Companies borrowed at 0%, buy back their own shares, inflate the share price. This used to be called share price stock manipulation. Thank you, Bill Clinton. Clearly it's stock manipulation. Thank you, Bill Clinton, for getting rid of that. So now companies can buy back their own shares and inflate the shares. And that's what they've been doing ever since. And hence, we have Intel now incapable of building a chip factory when there's a massive chip shortage because they wasted all their money on share buybacks. Yeah, another company, I hope that goes bankrupt. Next one, stagflation. We currently have a massive problem. The last two ADP unemployment metrics from America, way off target. They were meant to hit 1 million new jobs in April. They got 600,000. People were in shock. It wasn't 900, it wasn't 800, it was 600. May, they were meant to hit 500. They hit 200. Obviously, the stock market, you won't see it reflected in the stock market. Oh no, everything is fancy and dandy and there's no problems there. But in the real economy, things are bad. Then you've got the inflation, which is parabolic. I was speaking to somebody in commodities a few weeks ago, and he told me normally they have a price list once a month. It's pretty stable, the prices there. Now he's changing 3 times a day his price lists. He told me a container from China was costing $3,000 a container. It's now $20,000. It's insane the amount of inflation we have. Obviously not in the stats, but you can feel it. You can see it. The prices are starting to creep up. Just go and check out your petrol pump. Go to your local gas station, and it's right there to be seen. And finally, the most I don't want to say disgusting thing I've ever seen. It's the SPACs, and I can tell you in Israel, I feel sick. Every 2 days, another SPAC company. What is it? Nice prospectus, cyber this, tech that, special innovation here. There's nothing there. It's just a joke. It's just ripping off investors. They don't make anything. They just hire lots of people to pretend they're actually a big company. I'm sure they've got hundreds of people that just sit there and look at a wall. It's just absolutely atrocious. Blank check acquisition companies, unheard of before last year, and now I would say it's the main Israeli market are SPACs, because they just why not rip off the investor, if they're willing to pay. And all this is due to no prices. There is no way to identify how much anything is worth. There is no limit to what I can do. It's 0%. I'm just going to borrow, and there's no repercussions. Governments are doing it. Governments are saying, well, it's free money now. Let's just borrow money, invest in infrastructure projects, invest in free giveaways, social spending, whatever you want. We don't care anymore, and that's due to zero interest rates. The money is meaningless and worthless, and we saw in communist Russia where that leads to. In the end, that leads to an overthrow of governments. It leads to political instability, because people see who is getting that money. It's only the rich. They're the only ones who basically milking this whole SPAC junk system, house prices, all a load of junk. The people that will eventually, when they drop Bitcoin and the memes to nothing, they're going to walk away with all the money, and it will cause massive resentment in people. And it's due to a derelict government, a derelict banks and central banks not performing their duty, not doing what they should be doing, which is an honest interest rate based on inflation with a real inflation metric. They're not doing any of that. We are being defrauded. We are being made poorer. All this insanity is we're just going through the boiling of the pot, and eventually we're going to realize, oh my gosh, we're the ones on fire, and we're the ones being cooked for dinner. That's basically what's happening.